Assalamualaikum. My name is Nik Najwa Munawwarah Binti, and my matrix number is A208894. So here I am wants to tell you a story with a title, Before I Go to Sleep. It is not a fairy tale, it is a quiet nightmare. It's about a woman named Christine. Every day she woke up in a house she didn't even recognize beside a man she didn't know. She would sit up, startled, and glance around the unfamiliar room, photos on the wall, clothes on the walls. And then she stumbled into the bathroom, and that's when the real shock came. The woman in the mirror looked wrong, older and worn, 30 years older than she felt inside. And the man would appear. Christine, he'd say softly, "It's okay, you're safe. I'm Ben. I'm your husband." He'd explain everything again, that she had an accident, that she suffered from a rare form of amnesia, that each day her brain reset, erasing anything new she learned. "But it's okay," he would say. "I will help you remember." And Christine would nod and pretend to understand. But inside, she was drowning in confusion. The same happened every day, until one morning after Ben left for work, the phone rang. It was named Dr. Nash. He said they'd been meeting secretly, that he was her neurologist, that he'd been helping her. "Go to the wardrobe," he said. "There's a journal inside. You wrote it. Start reading." Her heart raced, her hands trembled, but she opened the wardrobe, pushed aside the clothes, and found it. An ordinary-looking notebook, thick, with her own handwriting. On the very first page were filled of chilling words. "Don't trust Ben. Read this." Christine's word title. Why had she written that? Why had she discovered? And what had she forgotten? She sat on the floor and flipped through page and page. The words were hers, the voice was hers, but they told a story she didn't even remember living. In the entries, she wrote about the small victories. Remember a tree in the park, a dress she used to love. But she also wrote about contradictions, desperation in Ben's story, fear in the pit of her stomach that something wasn't right, and a grounding, desperate suspicion that she was being lied to. Some entries mentioned flashes of memory, a hotel room, a man's angry voice, red sheets, a scream. Were they dreams or something more? Christine began to act. She pretended not to remember what she read. She smiled when Ben made breakfast. She played the part of a helpless, forgetful wife. But inside, she was watching, listening, and writing. Every night, she recorded. Every day, every morning, she read herself back into her own life. As the day passed, she grew stronger, braver. Her journal became a lifeline. Each sentence a step closer to something she wouldn't yet name, but felt in her bones. One day, a photograph on the wall caught her eyes. A wedding photo. Her in a white dress, Ben beside her, but something was wrong. Something was off. And later, when she asked about Ben about their honeymoon, his answer was vague, hesitant, too smooth. And her journal reminded her that he had given a different answer before. Little things that began to build up, piling into something much bigger, heavier. It was like standing on the edge of a cliff and finally seeing the drop below. Then came the memories. A moment, fleeting, of intense, of running, barefoot, the cold pavement beneath her, the sound of someone shouting her name, but not in love, but in anger. A face she couldn't quite place. Not Ben, someone else. And there was the photo of a child. At first, Christine had no memory of having a son, but the journal mentioned him, and then she remembered a name, a laugh, the feeling of holding him in her arms. When she asked Ben about it, his eyes darkened. "There is no child," he said. "You must have dreamed it." But Christine knew what she felt, the warmth of the tiny hands in hers. It was real, more real than anything else. She checked her journal. She had asked before, and Ben had lied before. Her world was cracking. Everything she thought was solid gone. What if she hadn't just lost her memory? What if it had been taken? The journal spoke louder each day, urging her not to just remember, but to fight, to claim her past, because the truth was out there, hidden behind layers of deception and fear. Christine realized she wasn't just a woman with a memory loss, but she was someone trapped inside someone else's version of her life. And the closer she got to the truth, the more dangerous things become. One night, she had a vivid memory, so sharp, so sudden, almost knocked her. A hotel room. A man with his hands around her wrist. Not Ben, someone else, someone cruel. It wasn't an accident that had caused her condition. It was something worse. Someone had tried to bury it, but she kept digging and digging. And as the pieces of her life slowly came back, imperfect, shattered, but real, Christine made a decision. She would not let her truth be erased. Not again. She started leaving messages for herself, recording some videos, writing hidden notes, anything to help the next version of herself wake up a little braver, a little sharper, because she knew every morning her mind would reset, but her heart would remember the mission, and her soul would keep fighting, and one day she would remember everything. This is the story of Christine, a woman who lost herself and found her way back one word at a time. A woman who lived 1,000 lives in one. A woman who wake up each morning in the dark, but still keep walking towards the light. Because even when your memory is stolen, the truth finds a way to rise. Thank you. That's all from me.